On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We are heading into a very contentious time. A lot of stuff is going to start to happen. This is going to be the place where it's going to play out how it plays out. I believe there's pieces in place, there's traps set, and we're seeing these in a few places. I've got some, I think, appropriate examples, though nothing super huge yet. Not trying to be clickbaity, just trying to make a good thumbnail. We've got so much going on. I've got a full Trump speech, a lot of questions they're taking, talking about this extra term, if he wants to be the third and fourth term. There's ways to do it, but he really poo-poos it because, and this is the more important thing, we need to worry about what the hell's happening right now. Things are moving at an extraordinary pace, and there are far too many people that are already looking out 3+ years away, way more than 3 years, when we've got a lot to do right now. And honestly, some of the people out there need to become politicians and get involved. People that are kind of drawn to that, but it can actually have a moral compass and hopefully help guide this future nation in the right direction. But we definitely got games going on. Things are happening. There's some weird plays going on between Russia, China, and us and everything. And so separately, kind of, not necessarily together, but a lot happening. Let's get it freaking going, folks. Working together, and this is Donald Trump, Truth This Out. Working together with a fantastic and very talented executive residence staff, along with the wonderful people at the National Park Service, we are making tremendous enhancements to the White House, thereby preserving and protecting history. One of the interesting dilemmas is a tree planted many years ago by the legendary President and General Andrew Jackson, somebody that Trump has huge admiration for, by the way. Interesting that this tree has a problem, unfortunately. I wonder how that happened. I mean, I really think, I don't know. I mean, it happens. Trees do get sick. It does happen, but you can intentionally introduce something because they hate Trump so much, and it's also symbolic. Anywho, he continues, it is a southern magnolia that came from his home, the Hermitage in Tennessee. That's the good news. Bad news is that everything must come to an end, and this tree is in terrible condition, a very dangerous safety hazard at the White House entrance, no less, and must now be removed. This process will take place next week and will be replaced by another very beautiful tree. The historic wood from this tree will be preserved for the White House staff and may be used for other high and noble purposes. Might make very interesting gifts from this tree, is basically what he's saying. So I bring this up, one, it's noteworthy. First, because I think it's key and they're going to spin it. And I think if we're in front of this, we're going to be like, first off, this tree is sick for whatever reason. They're going to do beautiful stuff with the wood. It's going to be fantastic. So please. And they're going to replace it with a beautiful tree. And they're going to try to make us all sad about the Andrew Jackson thing, which is Trump's, like, one of his favorite presidents. Trump says TikTok sale deal will come before the Saturday deadline. He thinks. Says we have a lot of potential buyers, which is very true. There's tremendous interest in TikTok. I'd like to see TikTok remain alive, is what Trump says. Trump's words, right? I don't know. I think I have confirmation bias. I'm just going to say it, so I feel like I don't trust my own filter on this because I have dislike for the app, mostly because of the way it is utilizing, well, the way they're using AI to control us, the way people use it knowing full well that it's actually helping China in a bad way, like CCP China. I don't know. I get the app. I get the fact that most of us have 4-second attention spans, so it totally caters to that. I think Twitter does a good job doing that too. And again, whatever. It is just, it's weird. I don't know. The few times I've tried, I've never ever put the app on a device. I've gone to the website with a browser on my computer, which I feel is somewhat secure, and experienced it that way, which may be very different. But I would never ever put that app on any of my devices ever. I mean, it's just, I don't put YouTube on any of my devices ever. Like, so again, I'm just weird. I watch a lot of stuff in a web browser, which has an ad blocker. Just saying. It's a different experience entirely until it doesn't work anymore. And that sucks when that happens. Oh, yeah. Where are we? Over here. So we have this deal, though. And I was kind of wondering about this, right? So talking about potential buyers for TikTok. And there's a bunch. They've offered all sorts of money. And then we've got China just blocked the $23 billion sale of the Panama Canal port. So there's the two ports or slips, or however it works, ports, I guess. And these were owned by a Chinese company, and they were trying to get Larry Fink, I think was the one, BlackRock, was trying to make the purchase. And China's basically just said, no, we're not giving them up. So the TikTok thing, I've got huge questions about. And since China just blocked the sale of these two ports, that basically is super important to Trump, because if you still have a landmass, if you will, in the Panama Canal, then the Panama Canal is thusly being controlled by China. And Trump is like, we're not having that. So this is going to create a next step. Trump being the master of the deal and the art of the deal and all that good stuff for sure. But the TikTok sale, I have huge question about, because frankly, China's probably going to play hardball. When they do, Trump's going to be like, all right, it's going down. I know I loved it. It helped me get elected. Thank you, TikTok. And that's what's going to happen. I don't know. We're going into a interesting thing. I don't think China wants to give up access and control and what they've got going on. A big part of what they're trying to do with their AI is program it to understand us Americans specifically, because then it can counter us. It can do things that keep us mesmerized. We are oddly simple people in this country, and very overweight and eat horribly and all sorts of things. So yeah, we've got a huge, it's an information war, and we are in many ways doing very poorly. It bugs me, but U.S. sanctions 6 Beijing, Hong Kong authorities for undermining the island's region autonomy. So Secretary Marco Rubio put this out. And 6 Beijing and Hong Kong authorities. He says they've engaged, Marco Rubio saying this, have engaged in actions or policies that have degraded the autonomy of Hong Kong, including in connection with transnational repression targeting individuals residing in the United States. Rubio announced Monday that these actions demonstrate the Trump administration's commitment to hold to account those responsible for depriving people in Hong Kong of protected rights and freedoms, or who commit acts of transnational repression on U.S. soil or against U.S. persons. I don't know if this is kind of the Uyghurs and some of the weird stuff there, and I think there's also been some cases of China literally sending CCP people here to harass and cause issues with Chinese, American citizens of Chinese origin. So there's some weird stuff going on all over the place. I'm not going to pretend to understand it. Obviously, we're not going to get the full, good, solid from Fox. It's going to have its friggin' slant on it. So things are happening. We're sanctioning. We're doing this. Tariffs, blah, blah, blah. So there is a financial war happening right now with China. Just saying it's like April 2nd is going to be a big deal. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. Here's a lot of cool, crazy going on. We're going to start with this. The insanity and the hypocrisy of what we've been fighting against and what we are fighting against. And I think Joe Rogan had talking about Bernie Sanders here and some of the just insanity that's coming out of some of these people's mouths right now.
It's amazing to watch all these left-wing people suddenly. Bernie Sanders making a post about how Donald Trump is trying to silence independent media was the wildest fucking gaslighting I think I've ever seen from a politician. Independent media? You mean fucking CBS? You mean CBS that edited that Kamala Harris interview to make it look like she had a really good point?
100%. And then I don't know if you caught Alex Soros reposting this claim that basically you have an unelected cabal wielding power. I mean, that's
you.
Yeah,
that's you, Alex. That's your dad. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very strange historical moment.
Also, it's like you haven't addressed any of the exposed corruption. All you're talking about is the horrors of dismantling this amazing organization. What about all the shit that they've uncovered? There's not even a counter argument. Like, no, we need to fund gender fluid dance in fucking Turkey. like, what are you talking about? We need $200 million for Starbucks Keurig cups. What?
Yeah, and it's just continuing, right? It's continuing. We're waking up. It's been part of one of the things that's like It's so hard about being awake longer. Any of you guys that have been awake for any length of time, tell me I'm wrong, right? Get in the chat in there. I don't want it to always be about me. That sounds stupid. But like anybody that's been awake for, I don't know, longer than 5 years even probably, it's you go through these moments, you feel alone sometimes, don't you? It's just like, I feel like, I've said this before, like I feel like the entire building around me is on fire. All these people are on the ground. None of them are dead. They're all alive. They're just asleep. And I've tried to bang things. I've tried to do this and that. I can't ever get anyone to wake up. Then eventually they just like, hey, what's up, man? Right? And they're yawning and scratching their head and their hair's sticking up in every direction, right? And I'm like, how you doing? Nice to see you. I'm glad you're awake. Yeah, I don't know, kind of. Just sort of. Okay, well, everything's on fire. I need help with that. And they're like, yeah. So eventually you get enough people. I think we'll get enough people awake. This is my theory. Then everybody at that time is going to concentrate on putting out the piece of fire in front of them, right? Because the one thing I've realized is I can take a bucket of water in this proverbial fire and throw it against the wall, and it goes out for a second, and then goes right back up. And I feel like the only way we're going to pull this off is to get everybody to throw the bucket of water at the exact same time in like a 360 direction, if you will, just to go with the analogy, and put this whole dang thing out at one time. And I'll bet it goes out. So kind of what we're trying to do. But I'm still waiting for enough people to wake up. It's fantastic. Needless to say, we are getting there. This whole thing happening with Musk is helping so much. I feel so grateful that this man is giving up what he's giving up and the threats that he gets from his own family and himself and everything. It's people like this that make me proud to call myself American. So Elon Musk, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Has the Doge team found any evidence that any of the radical left Democrats like Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer have received money directly from USAID? And if so, will we be hearing about that evidence anytime soon?
Yeah. So there is a massive amount of corruption, but it is circuitous. So what happens is there's money that, obviously it's your taxpayer money, that is then sent to various government organizations who then send it to NGOs, which an NGO is a non-governmental organization, but obviously if it's a government-funded non-governmental organization, it's just an organization, it's just a government. And effectively there's a giant fraud loophole, which is that the government can send money to an NGO that is then no longer governed by the laws of the United States. So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then it'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is a circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening.
This dude, whatever. I dig him. I like him. I like what he's doing. I like what he's about. I think Elon Musk's a good guy. I mean, we're all flawed in our own ways, so I would never ever be like, he's perfect. He's never done a thing wrong. Like, the public is insane to me. And they are. I'm just letting you guys know. As individuals, you are awesome. As a herd, people suck. They do. They just do. It's just part of the game, part of how it works. People get really stupid when a bunch of you get together, and I'm not saying it's you guys. You guys are definitely, I think, the ones that are helping ripple out. But the general consensus is it's tough. So we are, I don't know, like the leading edge of the knife or the wing. It's probably a better way to look at it because I think we're soaring and flying rather than necessarily destroying. So yes, many things came out during this particular speech. I don't know what it was called. You guys, bunch of you probably do, but whatever. It's got the vote in the background. It's the thing that Elon was just talking at. It's like a cool TED talk, but probably more on our side of the fence. Shocking revelations about millions of illegal immigrants receiving Social Security numbers under the Democrats' watch. According to stunning data confirmed by Elon Musk, non-citizens skyrocketed from 270,000 in 2021 to a mind-blowing 2.1 million in 2024. And they're not just getting Social Security numbers, they're being enrolled to vote. Sampling shows many of these groups registered and actually voted in our elections. This is voter fraud on a scale that's hard to fathom, and it's already being referred to Homeland Security for prosecution. But it gets worse. Democrats have set the system to max out benefits for these illegals. We're talking full Social Security payouts and enrollment in Medicaid, 1.3 million already confirmed, all while minimizing oversight. Experts who uncovered this scandal were left speechless. Quote, "If I hadn't seen it myself, I'm not sure I'd believe it," end quote. They check out the jaw-dropping graph in the video. The numbers don't lie. This isn't just a policy failure. It's a deliberate move that's undermining our elections and draining taxpayer resources. Share this now and truth be heard. It's too long to play right now. So it's very good, unquestionably. Attorney General Pam Bondi withdrew the Department of Justice's Biden-era lawsuit against Georgia's election integrity law. This was the one that they were calling it the Jim Crow law of the South, is what Biden was saying. And this was the one that required that you had to show ID to vote. Well, they've withdrawn their argument on that, so now Georgia's allowed to move forward with their new ID required to vote. Uh-oh. You know someone's bummed. This is just interesting in a lot of ways. I'm sure this dude knows a lot. I think he got a lot of information. I'm not sure what he's going to testify about. I'm not sure what proof he might have. Who knows? I don't know. I'm curious. My hopes are never up because it's usually very dashed. They're disappointing. But film director Oliver Stone, he's going to testify in front of Congress talking about JFK. It was his movie. That was like when I went through that, like kind of awake, but if you will. But that was when I really realized that the government was corrupt. I never knew that. I mean, I was awake, if you will, but I didn't know that. I was just ignorant of stuff, right? Like I was brought up in the regular education system. I was brought up Catholic, so I was brought up in that. So I was brought up in the system, and I've had to deprogram myself, and it's taken me freaking decades to to shave off this bits and pieces. There's still bits of junk on there every once in a while, but for the most part, I've done good. I've done really good, I think. Dang, hurt myself, pat myself on the back, but whatever the hell. So hearing him talk is going to be interesting. His movie was like a big one for me. I'm like, no shit. Yeah, that magic bullet. What is this? Like, there was just so many things. And now we've got potential Luna, Anna Paulina Luna going after the footage that I think it's NBC has that potentially shows Oswald near the car. Like, huh? He wasn't even in the book suppository. If that's actually true. I don't know. I bet it's some grainy-ass shit quality video, but whatever. We'll see. BlackRock's Larry Fink treads cautiously in a letter that shies away from politics. A smart move. Biggest asset manager, this dude. What he writes, people think about because he's got just gobs of friggin' money. The Panama Canal thing's a big deal. That's not going through, supposedly. That's going to be a big, big problem that he wasn't even aware of, it seems, yet at the writing of this article. Markets are eager to step in where governments and corporations are stepping out. So they're looking at different ways to do investments, not so much through debt measurements, but some just straight up investment from private assets, private investing. Dollar dominance under threat. He's talking about how that's a big problem. And what was this one? He notes China is aggressively building nuclear plants because they see decarbonization as a way to their own future of industry. And again, that's just the easiest green energy out there. It's if the craziness that seems to be happening to our planet, such as the magnetic fields literally moving extraordinarily fast by each year. It's not like it's just feet. It's like miles per year, like many miles now, and it seems to be picking up speed because we didn't have some data for a few years, so now all of a sudden people have gotten some data from this other feed, and it doesn't look good. And they've literally had to renumber runways in a number of places across this planet because the poles are moving. That's what those numbers are based off of. That means the poles, well, at least the North Pole, it's the one that they're using for that, means it's moving. And it has been. And they're literally having to adjust airport runways, names, because of it. Because the first two numbers, or the two numbers, you add a 0 to it is basically, or whatever the number of the runway is, let's say it that way. You add a 0 to it, and that's the degree, roughly, heading that you would, I think, land at if you're seeing it that way, and take off from, I think, if you see it the other way. So anyway, whatever. I'm not a pilot, though I just love it and pretend I understand it. But come on. Any real pilot knows I'm just full of shit. So yeah, we got the and they shot out at China's electric vehicle. So they're giving a big call out to China, which kind of scares me a little bit. And this is Larry Fink, BlackRock, dude, just probably investing your 401k or IRA, that's for sure. Virginia Giuffre, who was sex trafficked by Epstein. You remember the one with Prince Andrew? Yeah, she somehow got in an accident where her car got smashed with a speeding bus. She's now got kidney failure, and they say you're going to die in 3-4 days. And so that's interesting with the Epstein files coming out, because he is in the Epstein files. She would have talked about it. This is a loose end cleanup, unquestionably. Literally. This is what's going on. And I don't know. I don't know if it's related. Probably not. Of course not, right? U.S. Bank officials suspect that Terry Dolan, their vice chair of U.S. Bank Corp, was the victim of yesterday's plane crash in Brooklyn Park. Literally was a crash, pretty brutal. I'm not brutal like as far as what we see, but the fire would imply this dude, whoever is in that plane, is crispied for sure. But the medical examiner office has yet to confirm his presence on board because it's probably still friggin' on fire. Here it is.
Shit. Our street's probably going to be blocked.
Maybe.
Yeah, apparently hit a house. So the house is what's burning. And of course, jet fuel is extraordinarily flammable. Yeah, and obviously that's very close because, when fire trucks usually get there pretty quickly. That's brutal. Wow, damn. Daggum. Anyway, yeah, the dude's probably toast. So my prayers out to his family. I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I don't know if he's good or bad. I don't know any of that, and I don't want to assume. But he's a senior banking official. Things are happening in the world. I'm aware of when they die. I don't know anything about the dude, right? But something's up with his name. Like, he's somebody we should probably be on our radar, and I'm sure will pop up. Many autists will find it. It's just the joy of just trying to help ripple makers make ripples. The debt ceiling was raised again, but that didn't solve the problem, did it? No. The U.S. national debt just blew past $36 trillion. Some policymakers want to keep shrinking the balance sheet. Others fear tightening too much could destabilize the system. In the end, it all leads to the same outcome. More uncertainty, more volatility, more devaluation of the dollar. When governments print more, borrow more, and spend more, the playbook doesn't change. Hard assets like gold and silver hold firm. So, debt is at an all-time high. Congress lifted the ceiling, and this is back a little bit, but they're looking to have to maybe do it again this summer. So debt's not slowing down, it seems. The Treasury Department is flooding the markets with new debt. We're hoping that Trump can kind of get some of this under control with selling gas and things like that. That's going to be the immediate fix to help. And then as we can expand out some of this other stuff, that infrastructure is going to create more. So again, process is coming. As we as a country selling products is good for the big picture. I think there's some excise tax or something stupid that maybe we make on those that we don't ever talk about. I don't know. Fed has planned to keep reducing its balance sheet, but now some policymakers are pushing to pause or slow the process to avoid further destabilization. Markets, right? They don't want to mess things up. Market stocks have been volatile like crazy. Gold and silver have been on the rise big time. So we've got a lot going on. The world is kind of going through a big hiccup, big flux. And I mean, again, I talk about this all the time. Obviously, I mean, I love Goldco, and of course it's commercial. But seriously, the numbers are like what I've been talking about, and just insane. We're at 31.20 for gold right now. 31.20. It's going up. Someone just said it was for the year. It's up 48%. Literally. Like I'm suggesting an excellent venue for what's going on right now. Stocks, not on the other hand, not so much. Now, sure, we see they're up right now, 13.86. That's awesome. Well, yeah, they're up. Dow's up 350. Oh, well, Dow's having a great day. NASDAQ's still down, which is where most of the tech stocks are, which is where a lot of you guys, if you're doing any sort of aggressive investing, it's going to be in the tech stocks. So, yeah, NASDAQ's been having a tough go for a while. Now, here's the fun thing. Here's Dow Jones Industrial, okay? I'm just going to make it easy. 1 year. 1 year graph, right? So we hit our cap a couple times, it seems, but we're down quite a bit, right? So the cap was way over, what did we hit? I think 45,073. And right now we're sitting at 41,900. It's down a bit. How about the same thing on the S&P, right? Do 1 year. So cap was at 61.47, and we're sitting at 55.94 right now. Again, you saw a progression up, and it seems we're having a little bit of a bump, and have been of late. And again, NASDAQ is, I think, fared much the same. A little bit harder drop, though. We hit, a high of 2204, and we're at 17,236 right now. So again, big drops in short time, by the way, like a month. In a month. Of course, gold and silver have gone up a crap ton in the same time. I don't need to pull up the graphs for you guys, but gold's been just going up, and silver's the same. In fact, there's one of the things they talked about in this story in here is that the AI stuff is high silver demand because industry is trying to get in on it. Now here's another thing where they have to get physical metal. So them still selling the paper contracts where they can take one coin, like I've said before, explained, one coin and sell it 20, 40, 50 times, then that's awesome. But if anyone ever had to collect on that physical silver, they'd be in a world of hurt. So again, how we move forward without too much danger, it's going to be hard to say. All I just want to remind you guys, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. One, if you want to buy precious metals, great place to go. They've got all sorts of metals, all sorts of ways you can get them, suppliers and whatnot. So they are amazing. Goldco's awesome, super easy. I've done it. Customer, I love them. 401k and IRA, there is many, many aspects that go into this. They make this process as easy as possible, as quick as possible, and as affordable as possible. Basically, that's what it comes down to. I mean, it is an amazing number of hoops that need to be jumped through, especially when you're doing it tax-free and penalty-free, and you're literally getting physical metals that are put into a trust. There is a lot of steps, and that's why I trust Goldco to help. They are extraordinary at it, and also their customer service is bar none. You will have people that you can ask questions to before you do anything. They'll give you the best advice. They can't tell you what to do. They can't suggest what to do, right? For legal reasons, of course, but they can explain it very well, and they explain it incredible. I love them. I love how they work. So if you go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com, you can actually get out of that nasty deep state system, get into something that is performing incredible and will continue as this crazy stuff continues. And they've got the highest price buyback guarantee. So when we need to reverse this at some point down the road, well, we're also in the right place at the right time then too. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. And we know they want to. White House is preparing to take control of its briefing rooms, seating charts. A brazen power play that could upend decades of precedent and anger the liberal media. No! Carolyn Leavitt's going to become basically in charge of the White House Correspondents Association, and so thusly will apparently be able to choose the seating chart and who has the closest access to the president. So a lot of these people, podcasters and whatnot, that are finding themselves in this position, this might actually get them really up close. And hopefully it is the good ones, the quality ones, and not some of the crap ones that are just super popular because clickbait works and sells. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm keep waiting for I'm going to get a secret, ask. That's when I know I've done the right thing. When, Trump, someone's calling me on the phone and it says Donald Trump or some weird shit, I'll be like, I got to take this, right? When that happens, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it, I guess, but I don't want to otherwise. That's where I'm at with it, okay? Or, maybe some Pete Hegseth. Even though I don't think I'd be in that line of work. Whatever. I'm speculating right now. It'd be fun. Just fun to do. Carolyn knows moving seats around and making people... it's going to be fun. They're going to be all pissed off. This is incredible. I think I should play it a little faster speed. Donald Trump... his entire thing on Air Force One, they talked about him becoming president again. They actually asked a lot of crazy, stupid questions, and some good ones too, and and then dumb ones. And so he's got everything mixed in there. I kind of wanted to just make sure I'm giving our president a chance to talk, because he does it on the media, but I'm the media too, so I want to make sure he gets his time on my channel as well. I don't have to be live, but I want you guys to make sure you heard this. You can skip ahead if you've already heard it before, but yes, I love this.
I think we're making a lot of progress getting it stopped. We just want to see thousands of soldiers a week stop dying, because they're dying at numbers that probably haven't seen since the Second World War for no reason whatsoever. It's a shame. It's a shame. So I think we are making progress. Step by step, there's tremendous hatred between the leaders, if you call the whole situation leaders. But I think we'll get that done. And the Middle East, a lot of things are happening with respect to Iran. And we'll see if we can get something done. And if not, it's going to be a bad situation. Very, very bad.
Oil sanctions that you mentioned today, when will they start?
So we have a couple. We have the secondary tariffs on Iran, and we'll probably give it a couple of weeks, and if we don't see any progress, we're going to put them on. We're not putting them on right now, but if you remember, I did that 6 years ago, and it worked very well, to put it mildly. And if the election weren't rigged, you would have a situation where there would be no problem with Iran today, but it was. Biden didn't know what he was doing, obviously, and we have a very rough situation in the Middle East because of that. You ended up with October 7th, and you would have never had October 7th, and you would have never had Russia going into Ukraine likewise. But we're going to make a decision on secondary tariffs on Iran based on whether or not they're going to make a deal. If they're going to make a deal, then we're never going to put secondary tariffs on. We're going to hope they have a great, long, and successful life as a country. But we'll see what happens. It's very interesting. I can't imagine them doing anything else but making a deal. I would prefer a deal to the other alternative, which I think everybody in this plane knows what that is. And that's not going to be pretty, and I do not prefer that.
So, Mr. President, on the tariffs, you said that you were at one point that the tariffs Tuesday would be more conservative than what people might think. There's reports that you are maybe now looking to make the tariffs higher. So are you weighing higher tariffs? Or
the tariffs will be far more generous than those countries were to us, meaning they will be kinder than those countries were to the United States of America over the decades. They ripped us off like no country's ever been ripped off in history. And we're going to be much nicer than they were to us, but it's substantial money for the country, nevertheless.
On the tariffs that you're planning, so you're expecting to hit something like 10 to 15 countries, is that right?
No.
All of the countries?
is it across the board?
Not 10. I don't know who told you 10 or 15 countries.
We heard that. So we heard that you were going to aim for the 10%.
But you didn't hear it from me.
Okay, so how many countries will be in that initial tranche?
You'd start with all countries, so let's see what happens. There are many countries. I haven't heard a rumor about 15 countries, 10 or 15
So you're starting with all countries?
Well, essentially, all of the countries that we're talking about. We'd be talking about all countries. That's not a cutoff. And if you look at the history and you look at what's happened to us, you go to certain places, go to Asia, and you take a look at every single country in Asia, what they've done to the United States in trade. And by the way, in military in a certain way. You look at, take a look at trade with Asia, and I wouldn't say anybody is treated as fairly or nicely, but we are going to treat them, we're going to be much more generous to them in terms of heart. We're going to be much more generous than they were to us.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's actually sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm popular, if you want to know the truth. I think I'm popular because we've done a great job. I think we've had the best almost 100 days of any president. And most people are saying that. And it's an honor. We're bringing back our country. We're respected as a country again. And we're strongly respected. And people are amazed. I was with some very important people today, and they said that they've never seen a turnaround of a country as fast as this. Even look at our border. We have nobody coming in. And you can come into our country, but you have to come in legally. But we have nobody coming in to our country. It's almost shut down. They've never seen anything like this.
At an appropriate precedent.
Limits a president to 2 terms. Is it your understanding that they have to
I
be...
don't even want to talk about it. I'm just telling you, I have had more people say, please run again. They said, we have a long way to go before we even think about that. But I've had a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, do you think that's an appropriate precedent to set, even if it wasn't you in this position, to see a president serve a third term?
I don't want to talk about a third term now because no matter how you look at it, we got a long time to go. We have a long time. You know, we have almost 4 years to go. And that's a long time. But despite that, so many people are saying, you've got to run again. They love the job we do. Most importantly, they love the job we do.
So you said you're upset with Putin. Would you say your relationship with Vladimir Putin is at its lowest point right now?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to go back on his word. You're talking about Putin. I don't think he's going to go back on his word. I've known him for a long time. We've always gotten along well, despite the Russia hoax. It's a hoax created by Clinton and Schiff and all of these lunatics. And that really was a dangerous point. That was a very dangerous thing they did to this country. It was a pure, unadulterated scam, hoax. But no, I think he'll be okay. But if he isn't, I was disappointed in a certain way. Some of the things that were said over the last day or two having to do with Zelensky, because when he considered Zelensky not credible, we're supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that. But I think he's going to be good. I certainly wouldn't want to put secondary tariffs on Russia, but if they were put on, it would not be very good for them. We put secondary tariffs on, as you know, in Venezuela, and it's had a very strong impact on Venezuela. You know that every ship just got out and they left. A lot of them left. They dropped the hoses right into the ocean and they left. They didn't want to be there for a minute because they didn't want those tariffs to catch on, or they didn't want me to see them there. So the Venezuela secondary tariffs, all secondary tariffs are very strong because essentially it says if you disobey our orders, you cannot do business in the United States of America, and that's the cash cow.
Will that apply to Chinese companies buying Russian oil as well, if you plan to go ahead with those?
So if, in the case of Venezuela, as you know, China pulled up anchor and left. They were there, they had 2 ships there, and they left empty. They didn't want to take a chance. No, we're not playing games. Okay, any other questions?
Can you clarify, are you planning to leave office January 20th, 2029, or are you saying you might not?
Go ahead, any other questions?
TikTok. On TikTok. The deadline's
We're
coming
working on
up.
TikTok. We have a lot of potential buyers. There's tremendous interest in TikTok. The decision is going to be my decision, as you know, through Congress. They've given me the power to make the decision. We have a great team of people essentially taking bids. We have a lot of people that want to buy TikTok. We're dealing with China also on it because they may have something to do with it, and we'll see how that goes. But it's something I think you're going to have. I'd like to see TikTok remain alive. I mean, I'll be honest, selfishly speaking, I won the young vote by 36 points. Republicans generally don't do very well with the young vote, and I think a lot of it could have been TikTok. It could have been Joe Rogan, and it could have been a lot of things, but it was also TikTok. TikTok is it's very interesting. A lot of people want to buy it.
If no deal, will you extend the deadline?
Well, there'll be a deal with TikTok. I'm pretty sure. We would.
Is there a deadline for Russian President Vladimir Putin? Is there a deadline for Russian President Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire?
It's a psychological deadline. If I think they're tapping us along, I will not be happy about it.
Do you think they are right now?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he wants to make a deal. And I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems. We made a deal on rare earth. And now he's saying, well, you know, I want to renegotiate the deal. He wants to be a member of NATO. Well, he was never going to be a member of NATO. He understands that. So if he's looking to renegotiate the deal, he's got big problems. Go ahead.
Mr. President, have you had any more outreach from the automakers, and are you reconsidering that at all?
No. The automakers are going to make a lot of money, the American automakers, or international automakers if you're talking about they're going to build in the United States. The people that are going to make money are people that manufacture cars in the United States. Outside of the United States, that's going to be up to them. I don't care too much about that. But you have a lot of companies coming into the country to manufacture cars. As you know, the Auto Workers Union, I did great. I won Michigan by a lot. But the Auto Workers Union, they were fantastic to me. But now they're really fantastic. And even Sean Fain, who I don't know, but he obviously wasn't a supporter of mine. He's a Democrat. He said wonderful things about Donald Trump. He said, I can't believe this is finally happening. People that manufacture automobiles in the United States are going to make money the likes of which they've never seen before. But beyond that, we have the computer companies, the chip companies, the pharmaceutical companies. We have lumber. We have everything, steel. They're all going to do really well as long as they do their product in the United States. Thank you very much.
There's a lot of discussion about stagflation now. Is that something that you're worried about, given the impact of your efforts to readjust the economy?
I haven't heard that term in years. No, I don't know anything about it. This country is going to be more successful than it ever was. It's going to boom. We're going to have boom down USA. We're going to boom. And many industries. And we're going to bring manufacturing and we're going to bring product. For instance, we need pharmaceuticals in our company. We don't want to be buying our pharmaceuticals from other countries because if we're in a war, we're in a problem. We want to be able to make our own. We have our own lumber. We have our own energy. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need lumber from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada, as an example. So we are I think we're going to have, I call it the golden age of America. I believe this will be the golden age of America. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So at least you got the chance to sort of speak out some stuff. They kind of overdid the crap around the re-election, but it is what it is. A lot of people I know in the audience in general want to hear about that, want to talk about that. So there you go. Caroline Leavitt set to make major, we already cool. We talked about that. Investigation reveals massive Democrat-linked protest machine behind the Tesla takedown. This is huge. Big news right now. After nationwide protests targeting Elon Musk and Tesla, right? Wall Street Journal reporter started digging into this crap. Found out there were 24 Democrat-aligned organizations that were behind the scenes. Revenues in the $124 million range. They were marketed as spontaneous grassroots anger, but these Tesla takedown protests are actually coordinated AstroTurf, as they would say. They were pre-laid down events that run through platforms like Action Network and Mobilize.us, whoever that is, and closely tied to Democratic Party activism. So among key organizers, Indivisible Project, Democratic Socialist of America, MoveOn.org, and Swing Left. And again, as a protest in Virginia, demonstrators openly displayed Democratic signage and called for Elon's deportation. We're finding out where the money's coming from. Whether it's illegal or not's one thing, but where its funding comes from is really the next question. That's what we're going to go after, is that level. Because shutting down a Soros or something is kind of a whole different ball of wax. And hopefully we're heading in that direction. That's my opinion. We'll see. Republican Party HQ set ablaze, tagged with, of course, ICE and, yes, KKK. Well, you can't go anywhere without one of those two things being thrown on you, right? This was in New Mexico, so there you go. Their headquarters. Hopefully they got somebody on camera, or hopefully there was a Tesla nearby that saw it all. We'll find out. Isn't that cool, by the way, how all that stuff's happening? It's fantastic. So this is interesting. I like Luna chick. What's her face? I like her, Rep Luna. We'll just call her that. I forget all of her names. I like her a lot. She's fantastic. I constantly plug her in very positive ways. I didn't mean how that sounded. But she, I think this is just bullshit. We don't want people doing proxy votes. I don't know why she's pushing for a proxy vote. I always wonder who's whispering in their ear to do this, and why. So, Rep Luna, I would question very much who's whispering in your ear to do this proxy vote thing. Like, it's a good idea and it's justified because you had a baby 2 years ago. No, you're a House of Representative. I think it's wonderful you have a child, and it's great, like have your child move to D.C. and go to those wonderful schools there that you guys in Congress help make sure exist. Yeah, no. whatever. I don't know. But Mike Johnson came out and basically says no, he's against it because he believes it's unconstitutional to have a proxy vote. There is a lot of signatures that want to do it, 218. I don't think it's enough. But needless to say, not supporting my girl on that one. She's going to have to run that one alone. Russia strikes Kharkiv overnight, igniting fires and damaging civilian sites. They hit them pretty hard, it seems. Let's see, 57 out of 131 drones launched overnight were intercepted. Apparently 45 failed to reach their targets. They're saying due to electronic countermeasures. I don't know, that puts us at 90, 102, 102-ish or so. So there still looks like quite a few of them got through, did some damage, plus a couple Iskander-M ballistic missiles were also launched when, of course, Trump is like, hey, man, let's bring it down a notch. But Zelensky did some douchey shit, and, I think he's getting beat on. And what's funny is Europe doesn't have the arms to give to them. We did. I mean, we've kind of been at war for 45 years, so we've been building weapons. I mean, a lot of people said Russia's been in war footage. Right? We kind of have, too. We just sort of really kind of gave everyone our shit, and we got to stop. So, not giving Ukraine any more weapons would allow us to build up a few of our own reserves, one might think. And, of course, we've been, I think, filling up our ships out at sea. But we are in an interesting period in time, and here we go. That's the only manufacturing, it seems, that we actually do here, right? We make wine, and we make crazy cool weapons. So, we have big fights going on. And Zelensky, I don't even know if he can go home. You think about it, right? Can he even go home? Kremlin says it's working on Ukraine peace after Trump says he's pissed off with Russia. Apparently, they asked about Trump's comments. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Moscow was continuing to work with Washington and that Putin remained open to contacts with Trump. He says, we are continuing to work with the American side, first of all, to build our bilateral relations, which were badly damaged during the previous administration. And we are also working on implementation of some new ideas related to Ukrainian settlement. This work is underway, but so far there are no specifics that we could or should tell you about. This is a time-consuming process, probably due to its complexity. So, a lot's going on. And Trump's got to play it on his side. Putin's got to play it on his side. Everybody's dancing in the middle. It's part of the way it has to be. Whether it's the movie or not. That just simplifies it too much, I think, sometimes, because we're sort of living through this movie a little bit. It's meant to waken people up anyway. For those of us that are maybe just yawn, totally. But, look at all these doucheholes that are oh, this seems wrong. It's finally, good. I don't know what it is when people finally wake up. It is the weirdest thing. Wish I could figure it out. I've spent years trying to figure it out. And maybe I just suck at figuring it out. That's possible. It's totally possible. I know a lot of people are going to say, you can do it. I know I can't. I did it this one time. This person was waking up and they started asking me questions. That's different. It's not the same thing. You got to literally wake them up. They were like, no. And then you no, but here, and then you said this thing. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, by God, you might be, oh, and you just saw a halo wherever they went. Get out of here. That's not how it works. Catherine Merritt, I just want to bring this up again. She's the leftist NPR CEO, the NPR, National Public Radio. She is their CEO, and currently the chair of the board of Signal. NPR Signal, CIA. That part's just, I think I have Tourette's. I don't know. Maybe I don't, but it felt like it just, I was possessed for a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. For a second, when I said that last part, I must have been possessed. Donald Trump truthed this out. A great job by Senator Mark Wayne Mullen on beating back Kristen Welkers and the radical left's witch hunt on the never-ending Signal story. They just don't stop. Over and over they go. Meet the Fake Press should instead explain how successful the attack was and how sleepy Joe Biden should have done it years ago. This story and narrative is so old and boring, but only used because we are having the most successful first 100 presidential days, good God, in the history of America, and they can't find anything else to talk about. The fake news media has the lowest approval ratings in history, and for good reason. Make America great again. Mercury's retrograde right now. I hope that's part of this. Good God almighty. I'm not going to re-record all that. F it. I can't talk. The rest of this is going to be tricky. U.S. deports more alleged gang members to El Salvador. Now, this is, I love this. I'm just going to tell you straight up, I love this publicly. I love this. Are you saying this is going against the law? No, we're going against this one judge. That's what we're doing. We're not going against the law. We're going against this one judge. Trump administration deported more alleged Venezuelan and MS-13 gang members over the weekend. Apparently 17 of them were foreign criminals. Isn't that interesting? He sent them back home. Bye-bye. And, well, what's funny is Judge Boasberg, well, he had something to say about it. He put out, is this a minute order or minute order? I don't know. So I'm going to find out from one of y'all. I could have looked it up. It was of the many. I had to learn how to say Qatar. I had to learn how to say Qatar and properly. And so that was more important than what the hell this word is. It's just Latin. It makes no sense. It's a foreign language. But the court, apparently, it's ordering that the parties shall appear on April 3rd, 2025 at 3 p.m. for a hearing on the court's 47, that's the president's number, oddly, order to defendants to show cause why they did not violate the court's temporary restraining orders. Members of the public may attend in public or by phone, blah, blah, blah. There's a meeting ID, and then they go into all this bullshit about how, like, if you break the rules, then the rules are going to come to get you. Like, I don't know, whatever. So then he was all, so ordered by Chief Judge James E. Boasberg on March 31st. I think he was wearing, like, a necklace, like just a big bling necklace, whatever. When he did this, when he put this on, probably no underwear underneath, commando style. That's how I'd do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just strange. Possible. This, you guys are going to like, because my point was with the Boasberg thing and why I was sort of saying what I was saying was really because I had this up my sleeve the whole time.
It's just amazing that he would say that.
It's shockingly unconstitutional, Trace. It's great to be with you, and I'm here to announce on your show a measure that I'm working with Congress that should be Congress's bread and butter. And I'm calling for the subpoenas to be issued to Judge Merchant's daughter's company, who made $15+ million from the illicit information pouring out of her father's courtroom. I want to know the bank records, because money doesn't lie. Yep. I want to know how deep it is and how much of it went to the family and how much of it is going to the family after this false conviction. And then we need to investigate the FEC actual violations that this judge and his family conducted, because he should never have been overseeing this trial to begin with, because of the illicit campaign money that was flowing through there, and the unconstitutional due process violations are only the beginning. So America is calling for accountability of our judicial system, and Congress is the only lever that has it, and I'm hoping for one or two brave members of Congress that I'm talking to issue those subpoenas ASAP.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. He's going after them. So a lot of you are like, Dan, I thought he's going after Boasberg. No, please. He's still got to finish committing his crimes, if you will. But his family, his daughter, Boasberg, his daughter and wife, both have been scrubbed from the internet. He was tied in with the FISA court. He's been tied into a number of things. Unquestionable that he's tied in. He's just, if we're doing it to Merchant, which is freaking awesome, then, Boasberg, buddy boy. Traps have been set. This was the point of the thumbnail. Okay? For those of you that said it was clickbait, bullshit. There's my trap. One of many. I think we've got them all over. I think countries have them going on too right now, and this tariff thing's kind of part of that a little bit. Trump's like, he laid it down a little bit, but at the same time pulled back, which is kind of cool. Right? Don't want to screw everyone's economy, which I'm sure somebody's like, dude, you're literally going to cause a stock market crash in the world economy. He's like, all right. I'll bring him up a little. So, he's got Trump, it's playing the deal, man. He's making a deal with us and everybody else. Us also. Oh, I should turn my camera on. TWC.health/OTF. Look, I don't want to spend a lot of time. I always say that's like the death knell for me. Contagion emergency kit. This one I have huge love for. The emergency kits in general. Just go to TWC.health/OTF. Save me the commercial, if you will. You'll save everybody the time. Yeah, you will. Just go there right now. TWC.health/OTF. If you let me just let you get there and then you can see this real quick, then yeah, you won't have to worry about it, right? Just pause the video if you have to. Contagion kit, first aid kit, awesome. You just need them. Contagion mainly for the Ivers, the HCQ. It's got, check it out. There's like 6, 7, 8 things in it, whatever. It's got the breathing. Dude, you want that for sure. The other huge couple of things, by the way, anti-aging is, their longevity stuff is definitely something to look into. Lot going on there. If you guys just kind of want to fight it a little bit. One of the things I most highly recommend in this entire website, I love it, and it's not necessarily the price point, but what you get, to me, in my opinion, and what is the big picture, is way awesome. So 3 months worth of supply of a parasite cleanse. Any of you guys know what a parasite is and how much things are behind that, and why just even ivermectin on a somewhat regular basis makes a huge difference? There's a number of ways we can try to get to this place. This is an excellent way to do a firm cleanse, because again, a lot of us kind of let things go way too far and have kind of a lot of things are not working well with us, and a lot of that's because that parasite level kind of is unbalanced. And I find parasites and viruses to be kind of an interchangeable word to a degree, right? Basically, anything that's parasitic in our bodies is not benefiting ourselves, but benefiting itself. It's living off of our energy. And in some ways, many could say that's kind of how they steal our energy. There's the biometric little machines that they use. Loosh, they call it, I think. I think it's kind of tied in. I think there's literally little thingies floating around so that we can fight when our systems are strong and our energy's grounded. Oh, these things don't matter at all. But when we get run down, not good. When you get really run down because you're already not good, super not good. This is one of the things. I love this thing. Ivermectin, mebendazole, parasite cleanse. Check it out. twc.health/OTF. You're going to go to anti-aging. Bam, right there. Ivermectin, mebendazole. They've got healthy living, all this cool stuff. Check it all out. twc.health/OTF. Look at all the crazy cool stuff, because it's all there, folks. It's all there. Don't tell them. This is an urgent hearing, apparently, currently underway in Virginia, regarding an attempt to interrogate a lawful permanent resident from Afghanistan. This individual's brother has been accused of participating in a scheme to assassinate an Iranian journalist. The judge has stated that the resident is being detained at Dulles Airport. Yeah, so they're like, this guy's not bad or whatever, so we got a judge that's, I don't know, once again, interfering with someone that could potentially be a terrorist. And see, judges and family certainly are not going to necessarily know some top secret stuff that the government might have, especially if he's being detained at an airport. That means, because by the way, folks, just FYI, airports have some of the finest security, face recognition, all that crap. We don't do face rec. They just got us doing it now, right before you get on the plane or whatever, before you get in. They're already doing that shit before you walked in. They got cameras everywhere. You can see them all over the place. And then they probably got better ones that you can't see. Crying out loud. Bastards. Somebody's out. Somebody's watching me. Right? Isn't that the song? That's been like played all over the place lately. I've been seeing that. It's been popping up all over. You see it too? Am I just crazy? It's just, could be that. I mean, it happens. Trump administration asked Supreme Court to allow cancellation of millions of dollars of DEI grants. So, Supreme Court to get involved. Can we get rid of some of the stuff that we think is a bad idea? Right? Don't we administrate our own executive branch, one would say? Union sues the bloc Trump from ending collective bargaining for many federal workers. Yeah, they want to get rid of all this nonsense, collective bargaining BS that was just essentially spending gobs of resources of the government, just constantly letting union lawyers make gobs of money from us. And this so they could, people that work for the government can complain about how hard it is to work for the government. Yeah, they're shutting that down. I think they should. Yeah, sorry, you guys can pay for your own collective bargaining. Get a company and you can help pay for it, union. Otherwise, let's not have collective bargaining. Let's let them take you to court and see how well you do, because you guys suck. I am obviously anti-union. I'm sorry. Ken Paxton put this out, and it's pretty awesome stuff that he's doing here. Basically making it, I don't want to read this all. He's making it difficult for people in Texas that are district attorneys of county or district level They have to assure accountability. They have to do this new reporting. If they choose not to do this new reporting, he's going to come after them in a very unique, kind of cool way, basically saying this reporting is going to show us whether or not you're targeting specific types of crimes, whether you're letting people back out on the streets, a lot of things. Now, this is going to force, I think, a lot of these bad places in Texas to instantly try to go into overtime to try to cover up a bunch of the shit. It's usually where you get caught, though, which it's already too late for those that are already been involved. They're like, wait, I'm listening to Dan Radio Style as he's talking about this because I always laugh how he thinks we're going to get caught. Get out of here, Dan, you're wrong. But here's the thing, sweetheart, you are totally going to be wrong. We know when you start changing things and all of a sudden alarms go off. It's kind of funny how it works. You know, Elon works in Texas full time, right? Saying that was to the people that, you know, the dicks out there. Not you. You were cool. You were fine. But there's a couple dicks that are in the deep state that I'm sure that watch my show, and that is the problem right there. Elections watchdog urges ministers to crack down on foreign donations to political parties. Yeah, they're all worried that Elon Musk, a foreigner, could warp elections of another country. Soros. Sorry. Well, I don't know why that seemed relevant. This is weird, in my opinion. And I want to hear from you guys. Not necessarily like an email, like comment. This is a good comment, please. By the way, hit the thumbs up if you could, please. And also make sure you've subscribed. It's very important. So we've talked about this. First, there was 4 guys cruising around in a weapon vehicle. It was a M88 Hercules, apparently. 4 dudes cruising in a Hercules, right? It's like we do. And apparently something happened. First, we were told they sank into something and died. And they're like, no, they didn't die. We're just kidding. And then now 3 of them have died. So 3 are dead. 1 is not, or found yet. 1 seemed to have gotten out. And why would 1 get out and not immediately go find somebody that would tell somebody, or what happened? Like what? This is where I'm having a hard time with this. This thing supposedly sank into a swamp. That's what they're saying. That is the official story was correct. Just 1 of them got away. Why wouldn't he report back? I mean, is this how you would? You know, you're not driving, or you are driving, you drive it off into a thing knowing you're going to kill the guys in the car, or what? Like, I mean, or the, whatever the Hercules is, or maybe they're in the back and there's no way they can get out because you can control that. I don't know. I wonder. This all seems weird. I mean, 1 would imply the driver had something to do with this. It could, anyways. The other people could easily have been in the back. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird story. This is kind of crazy. But, like, I don't know, like, I guess kind of a legit way to solve a giant problem. China's getting very, very, they just did this drill. They've practiced their version of an amphibious assault bridging ship. Now, this isn't meant to be their initial assault, is my best guess. This is what this is meant to be, is once they've assaulted all their forces, they're going to create, like what, like a point, a forward point or whatever, right? And that's where you're going to have some supplies and crazy shit like that. Fuel, you know, food, important stuff. So you're going to need to offload stuff quickly. You're going to need to be able to transport stuff quickly. We know China can transport. But now they've got, it seems, an interesting way to do the offloading, it would seem. So it looks like the closest ship is probably going to be their smallest little platform. They've got a few of them. And it's the Type 2. It's the smallest, kind of wide, though. It's kind of interesting. And then it can dock up front really easy. It's also got those little pillars. So you get him in close. He had a very flat bottom when you look at the picture. Very low, like, what's it? I don't know how the depth works, right? What they call that. But, like, the hole goes not that deep in the water. And then it's probably got these things that can push down and create kind of like a, you know, a stable, level platform. Brilliant, kind of. I mean, I hate to sound like I'm like, dude, this is smart. It's like, it's kind of smart. That's totally, I can see China thinking that way. And then you get the other ones, the Type 3 and the Type 1, you get those out and attached to him. Bam. So they're sitting out here. Well, now we're in deeper waters, and this is where, like, giant cargo ships can come in with tanks and all sorts of crazy shit, and these things can actually support it. Now, again, It's all on how stable this is, because a tank comes rolling through here, too much weight. I mean, if they do them one at a time, so I don't know how are they going to do it. It's interesting. They're figuring out a problem, and their solution to the problems, it's unique. Kind of like how Russia solves problems uniquely than we tend to, right? We'd figure out a way to make a ramp from space, and we'd ship these tanks up to space and then have them sail down. That's what we'd do. Something crazy. Not like bridge. Those bridges. That's so like 15th century. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about new directive mandating that chicks can't necessarily not be tough as shit if they're going to be on the front lines.
Hey everybody, Pete Hegseth here. We're about to land in Washington, D.C. on our way back from Japan, where we've been meeting with the troops, talking to allies and partners, reestablishing deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. It's Sunday, but of course we're still working. I want to show you one thing. It's a new memorandum that's coming out today on combat arms standards. You see, for far too long, we allowed standards to slip, and different standards for men and women in combat arms MOSs and jobs. That's not acceptable. We need to have the same standard, male or female, in our combat roles to ensure our men and women who are under our leaders or in those formations have the best possible leaders and the highest possible standards that are not based at all on your sex, if you're a man or a woman. So I'm signing this memorandum today. The services will review, and soon we will have nothing but the highest and equal standards for men and women in combat.
Now, I have to report, this was breaking news that came. Yeah, okay, it is in fact true. Breaking news that just came in. The Atlantic just reported that the area that they are filming right now within this plane is the most top secret part of the airplane. Yeah, there's some technology right here in this panel that you're not supposed to know exists. It's in that panel. The Atlantic reported this is the most top secret location of the airplane. Oh, you said that was a joke? Well, I can't. Well, shit. All right, I guess. Who cares? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stunned the Shin Bet and the country earlier Monday morning, appointing a formal naval chief, Vice Admiral Eli Sharvit. Holy shit. I don't know who he is either. Everyone freaked out. Lindsey Graham freaked out. It's beyond problematic, he says. Lindsey Graham. Who the... Benjamin Netanyahu pulls back. He's like, I don't know. I was thinking, but maybe not. We got this other guy I could go with. So he's maybe going to change his mind. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I don't know what's going on in Israel right now. Like I've said, I hate to say it. I do hate to say it because it goes against the easy thing to say, which usually sucks. Get beat up on a little bit. I don't trust Benjamin Netanyahu. He's got the burden of proof, in my opinion, to demonstrate to me that he's not being a douchehole. And lots of war. Trump seems to be backing it, but okay, why? Like, all right, So I don't know. I don't know if it's just is part of the Iran. We need to have some sort of aggression point, like already warmed up. So if we need to attack Iran, we can. Like, I kind of think maybe it's some of that. I don't know. It's a weird situation. So he's fired the dude. Supreme Court's like, you can't do that. And he's like, F you, it's my military. Of course I can. You're silly. And he had a cooler accent. And so we're going to find out. Again, a lot of weird stuff's happening in the world right now. Traps have been set, I hope. Many said when the world finally a lot of people want to see Revelation play out or expect it to be or think it has to or however they want to, faith that's like, I don't want to live through that. What are you talking about? Revelation sounds horrible. So, like, I don't know. You expect all of us to want to jump on board that flaming pile of trash? No. I can think of a better way we could solve this problem, right? Why that way? So I don't know if that's necessarily how this, we'll see. Some say that might be part of that timeline thing. I don't know. I'm along this ride with you guys. I just don't think we're going to that timeline. So I think what Benjamin, I don't know. Maybe he's adjusted. I'm up for suggestions. I'm curious. Always trying to, here's where the Qatar thing came from. Yeah, I spent time figuring that out. Yep. So we've got a lot going on. So there is one of his dudes just got fired too, by the way. That was the thing. This Israeli prime minister was abruptly summoned for this corruption trial to provide testimony Monday afternoon after at least one of his aides was arrested amid mounting allegations of financial ties between Netanyahu's office and Qatar, a country with Israel has no formal relations. So this is a big money country, though. Big money country. Kind of seems to be the money country, really. Saudi Arabia is like, it seems to be an arm of it. It's kind of what I feel like. I don't know if you guys like the Family got kind of whatever. Like they were allowed to do whatever they want, but like ultimately you're ours. I don't know. It just feels weird. Maybe not. Maybe I'm totally, because this is a part of the world. First off, I don't even like the desert. I don't even like going out to like Palm Springs. It's too damn hot. Too damn hot, people. I don't want to wear dresses everywhere. Just screw that. Draw the line there. Iran's nuclear program, how it works. I don't want to break into all the pains, but I actually read this. It was kind of interesting. This is someone that wrote it that I think there's some facts, definitely. A bunch of good ones in here. Long story short, enrichment levels. This is kind of the important part of the big picture. So natural uranium, right, contains about 0.7% of the U-235. U-235 is the stuff that really matters, right? It's the really good stuff, the stuff that just it's constantly emitting shit and is, I think, more dense. I forget what the regular number is. I think like 239 or whatever. 238. There it is. So yeah, it's a better, more. I don't know if it's less stable or what. I don't know. Whatever the case is, it works for nuclear weapons. I would assume more stable because it's more dense. I don't know. I'm just making shit up in my brain just so it tries to make sense to me. So long story short, that's natural. That's just natural uranium. So you find a chunk of uranium, it's barely 0.7% U-35. So you need a shit ton of uranium to get a good amount of 235. Low enriched fuel. This is commercial nuclear reactors. This is what they put out everywhere. We make a nuclear reactor here in your face. 5% is what they refine that to, right? That's quite a bit. It's quite a bit compared to 0.7. Now, high enriched fuel for nuclear research reactors, that's 20% of U-235. Weapons grades at 90%. Now, the thing that most people don't understand, and this is the big problem, I guess. At least, I don't know. I'm not trying to jump on board of the we have to kill Iran because they've got the nuclear weapon. I'm just trying to, I think, explain at least what they're telling us. And, I don't know, a little bit of science I got. There's probably some truth in this one. Someone that's actually worked in this industry. There's people that have. So how much effort is required to get weapons-grade uranium? Well, very little. So to get up to that original 4 or 5%, takes about 83% of the effort. That's hard as hell to get to 5% to make just for commercial use. Very difficult. 83.5% of the effort involved is going to be to get to that level. Now, how much extra effort from there do I need to get to 20%? Well, about 8.5% extra effort from what I was already going to do just to get to 20%. So a little bit more, and I get quite a bit more, and I can do some research with that. Plus 8% more, and I can get up to 90%. Long story short, going from 60 to 90 is very, very easy compared to going from 0 to 20. And that's the problem, is they've already gotten to 60. So they're going to have a weapon in an extraordinarily short period of time. Period. Based off of what's going on, I mean, I think they already got one, frankly, but that might be one that they've stolen or borrowed or bought, and they're finally going to make their own. So this is the argument. This is what they're saying. This is why you should grab your ankles, kiss your own ass to say goodbye to the world. France's far-right leader, Le Pen. She's been sentenced to prison. I thought she almost won the election, or did she win the... France's far-right leader, so that means she's probably the one we'd get along with, I guess. The one that sort of makes sense. Handed a 4-year prison sentence because she spent some money inappropriately. Now, whether she did or didn't, I don't know. It wasn't a lot of money, and supposedly you're allowed to spend money on your employees. This money potentially was spent on the employees, but in some sort of inappropriate way. Again, there's some people that hate her, so they're like, whatever she does, it's wrong. And then there's some people that are like, she did what everybody else does. Why are you guys singling her out? So there seems to be a mix of that. as far as the general consensus, I guess. Raphael Warnock, you guys remember him from Georgia. He is one of our senators. He lives free in a $1 million luxury home purchased by his church. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this, but it's an interesting thing. He's a pastor at that church. This church pays for a home of his that's millions of dollars. I wonder if this church got a large donation back when it bought this home for $989,000 in October of 2022. I wonder, just because this is so specific in this article, you almost have to wonder if they know, whether or not this church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, received some sort of strange large donation sometime prior to that. I mean, you certainly can't have that money coming out and not have something coming in. How much came in? Was it likely more than $1 million, or did you guys only manage to skim off 11,000? I'm curious. But this home is Senator Warnock's home right now that he's living in rent-free. Is something to think about. Ex-Senator Sinema, the one who I'm honestly not very happy with. Manchin I like significantly more than this chick. She changed her party affiliation to independent prior to, I don't even know if Manchin I think Manchin finally did, but she did it. Being cool, but she was never a good person. She's a bleached blonde. Look at that. I don't know. Actually, it looks like her drapes are bleached too. Look at that. Her drapes blonde. Which ones are the eyebrows? Whatever the art thing it's called. Yeah, she supposedly started working for this company called Hogan Lovey. They've previously counted Coinbase as a client, including litigation before the U.S. Supreme Court. So she got a sweet little deal, it seems. I mean, maybe she's a really good lawyer. Maybe she's not. California drops 173,000 private jobs and manages to somehow add 181,000 government jobs. First off, it's a net positive of jobs. Well done. You guys got 8,000 extra jobs. Wow. But they're all government jobs, which means they're paid for with taxes. So it's actually a drain on the economy. There's a whole long article talking all about it. Big section that I was going to read you guys because, made sense at the time. Here was RFK Jr. talking to Chris Cuomo on News Nation. And here you go, talking about vaccine injured and something that RFK Jr. is doing right now, which is, for one, pissing off a lot of people. Again, we're at war. These people are front and center. Pray for these people, all of them.
Let me ask you, are you going to make any investments in long COVID and vaccine injuries in terms of coming up with treatments and data to help clinicians, help their patients?
Yeah, that's going to be one of our priority focuses. We already have a division at NIH that is devoted to studying long COVID and to figuring out cures and to study, and we're incorporating an agency within CDC that is going to specialize in vaccine injuries. Oh, those are things that are priorities for me, and also Lyme disease. These are priorities for the American people. More and more people are suffering from these injuries, and we are committed to having gold standard science to make sure that we can figure out what the treatments are and that we can deliver the best treatments possible to the American people.
Let me ask you, are you going to make...
No, you can't ask again. You got your one time, Chris. So hopefully, I don't know. There's so much crazy stuff that's on. The vaccine injury, a lot of information coming out about the studies, or a few studies actually, talking about vaccines, and they provoke kind of a different sort of antibody experience in the body. They create so many of them. It goes actually to this kind of, making it simple, like one of them anyways, I think it's the IgG4. It like makes the body do it so much that the body basically goes, I'm tired of doing this, and just like kind of creates it like, all right, you're just this sort of antibody that you're like this thing that we can live with because it's been overwhelmed. Like, we can live with you, I guess, because we can't really ever get rid of you. So it dumps it down to a smaller level. It doesn't consider it as invasive, if you will, as it can be, versus its, I think, IgG2 counterpart, where it treats it very much like, you're trying to kill me, and it just puts a lot of energy into trying to destroy this invader. And so this technology seems to do something kind of funky with the virus in people. and causes our bodies and our immune systems to do weird things. One, I mean, just kind of as far as defending oneself, it seems to get worse. You become far more able to get the COVID, but the studies actually show that you're less likely to have a severe experience. But I compare that to somebody that maybe didn't sleeve roll, and they don't get sick because they've got natural immunity. They don't have to worry about the fact that it might not have been more violent, right? I'm not going to get it. You're going to get it, and it hopefully won't be that bad. I'm not going to get it because I've already had it, so I don't have to worry about how bad it might have been. It's a funny way they're playing with the information right now. And it's one of the ways that I think they spin it on the pharmaceutical side. One of the reasons why I'm helping taking down these guys. Just the way they phrase stuff. It's people are easy to shift. People are easy to sheeple. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Apple and Musk clash over satellite expansion plans, yada, yada, yada. I think Apple, always wants a big chunk of it, and Musk's like, I don't have that kind of margin baked into my stuff to give you as much as you want. I don't know. There's a big thing. So Musk is probably going to end up coming out with his own phone. I'm just speculating that because he said he'd do it before. Apple's maybe not playing ball, and Musk knows it's like, please, with the way technology is and how open source it is, it's like, how hard can it be to make a good phone? Even one that maybe already handles, like, I don't know, Google, just to be a dick to Apple, or even someone else, maybe through Twitter, which would kind of suck. But if you had an app store, it might be a smart move. Who knows? Whatever. They're having it has to do with the satellite connection. I think T-Mobile's got a special deal. Apple made it cool to do that with T-Mobile. I think Musk probably wants a little more of a, hey, I don't want to tell you how my shit works. And Apple's like, well, sorry, we can't just let you do whatever you want. And except when China's manufacturing their products, because it's been found that there's little teeny transistor was added to the phone. Guaranteed, in just a backdoor built in. I don't know if they were able to isolate what that piece did. I think somebody said they did, but I doubt that video's still around. Newsmax live trading began. So any of you guys that give a crap about Newsmax, there you go. It's trading. I think it was a secondary stock or some shit like that. Whatever they call it. It started trading, and it is called NMAX. If any of you guys, I am not recommending it. I have not bought any of it. Don't plan on buying any of it. But I thought it was kind of an interesting story. It shows one of these smaller companies that are starting to go bigger. They've pulled some millions. Is this the one Cuomo's in? News Nation, that's him, huh? His Newsmax is the one that kind of sort of survived the falling of Brett Burr and what's her face. She's dead to me still. Brett Burr's kind of come back a little bit, but not Martha McCollum. No. Sorry, it's not happening. Got to get rid of her. There you go. That was the point. We've got so many things going on. I feel like it's kind of a whirlwind. I've been frankly having a hard time with a lot of the crazy stuff that, it's like when a lot of us wake up, right, and you find out a bunch of information, and you kind of become just like it's like, oh my God, you got to share this with people, and you're like, how I gotta tell, and you start telling all these people, and you just like, people are like, I don't know, that's crazy, that's ridiculous. Like, no, it said here that's not true. It's what? So you start running into a lot of like, nobody's nearly as excited about this, and so the levels sometimes are interesting because. My whole life, I always felt like we were being lied to just a lot of different ways. It's one of the things I'm kind of sensitive to in general. And to find out the levels and the depths and how far it's gone and how it's even gone possibly further, and that's fun to try to look into. So again, it's been, I think, a hard part of the journey for me, frankly, right? Like I there are just times where I'm just like, wow, it gets deeper. The rabbit hole is like, it's like I am going to come out and pop out in China. So thank God I like Chinese food. It'll work out good when I do finally. But it's just a trip, and I don't know. I assume maybe some of you guys are feeling similar. I don't think I'm doing this alone. I don't think I'm feeling this alone. So I love you guys. I'm gonna keep pushing forward. There are definitely days where I'm just like, man, what this is. I feel like sometimes I'm fighting the people I'm trying to help. Like saving a drowning victim sometimes, and I don't know why. It's like I'm gonna think about that today. But yeah, it's again, a lot's happening. I think it's part of the big transition. It's an information war. There's a huge push on many of us to bend and to give up. And not happening. It's not happening at all. I enjoy this too much. Suck it. Love it. Most important thing, you ain't doing it alone, folks. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.